Hi, Bobs. Today I'm going to tell you a story from when I was Mormon. I'm just going to preface this by saying I already made this video, but TikTok lost all my sound, so I have to start again.
Fuck
And I'm
you,
actually
TikTok.
livid, but whatever. At least I look cute. And I did this entire story time while doing my makeup at the same time, but I guess I'll just have to do that another time. So, growing up, I was Mormon. I actually grew up in South Africa, but I am Zimbabwean, and I lived in Scotland for a hot minute there. So, this is a story about how I and a group of friends won a free lunch because of Mormon. Let's get into it. So, my mom grew up in the church, and I did too, but I only really started practicing when I was 6 years old because my dad is not a part of the church. So, anyway, so on to the story. I went to an all girls Catholic high school, and in my religion class, my teacher asked us to pair up in groups and do a project about a religion we wanted to present on. And I asked her if I could do a sect of Christianity, which is Mormonism. And she said yes, because it is so different from Catholicism, like almost completely different. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. So for this specific group project, I paired up with most of my friends, and I had this one particular friend named A. She was agnostic at the time, and she would ask me a ton of questions about Mormonism, which I really appreciated because she helped me. At that time, I would call it build my faith and strengthen my testimony. But really, what she was doing, she was dismantling everything I have known my entire life. And I still thank her to this day because she's one of the reasons I got out. But she was like, I discovered some interesting things about Mormonism because if you are a Mormon, you are not allowed to find toward information about the church. Torch. Can I talk today? You're not allowed to find information about the church through other sources. You can only do it through the church website.
Ew.
So from there, there's going to be two big things I'm going to share in this video for the sake of time. The first one, she was like, hey, what about those baptisms of the dead? And I was like, can we not talk about that? And the reason I didn't want to talk about this is because it's really difficult to understand, and also it sounds creepy because it is. And I didn't want people in my class to look at Mormonism and be scared of it. I thought this opportunity as a way to get people interested in Mormonism so they could join the church, because at heart we are all little missionaries in Mormonism. So I was like, no, let's not share that because I do not want people to be scared of the religion. And she was like, but it's important. And I was like, but that's deeper level stuff. If you ever heard about Scientology, I would say that's like level 4 stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's just not something you can immediately right off the bat be like, hey, by the way. So some background on what baptisms of the dead are. So, first of all, they are performed in the temple. So, the temple is kind of like a synagogue, I would kind of call it like that. It's a very holy building for Mormonism, and you cannot, if you are not Mormon, you cannot get into the temple. And you are only allowed to enter the temple from the ages of 12. And even when you are 12 years old, there are some parts of the temple you still cannot enter. So the temple is very
Culty.
like secret. It's very hush hush. I've been in the temple though before. I've been in the temple twice. But yeah, it is gorgeous. I will say that one thing. So you can baptize when you're around 8 years old. When Mormonism, I got baptized when I was 9. And basically, to get in the temple, you need a temple recommend. You cannot get into the temple without a temple recommend. They will check that at the door. If you do not have one, you're going home. So, I had actually gone to do baptisms of the dead before, and it's kind of creepy as it sounds. Basically, you use your body as a proxy of the dead spirit to baptize
Oh,
that
hell
spirit. Usually without consent, because, well, a dead person cannot ask for consent. The church also goes as far as to ask you to bring names of your dead family members so you can baptize them too, and then seal them to a fate of Mormonism for eternity. Sounds scary because it is. Yeah, so yeah, I have done baptisms of the dead before. It's interesting. I could go into it more. Also, don't look at my braids; they're trash because I did them, and this is the second time I've done my braids ever. Don't judge me, please. Anyway, so if you want me to go more into detail about that, let me know. But just for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna skim on the surface. So yeah, I was like, no, we cannot let them know. The second thing that she found out that she wanted to tell the class was about Mormons being their own gods. And that's the thing I had never heard of in my life. I was like, that's not true. I don't believe
Liar.
we don't believe that. Only to find out that we did actually believe that. Yeah. Anyway, so basically the thing is that if you are sealed in the temple to your wife if you're a man or to your husband if you're a woman, then you can go on and become gods of your own future planets. That's basically the gist of it. I don't really know how it works because it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, I could go into more detail about it, and but just for the sake of time and yeah, for my sanity, I won't know. And yeah, so basically we did our presentation and we started it off by doing the young woman chant. We are daughters of our Heavenly Father who loves us and we love Him. We will stand as witnesses of God in all things and in all times and in all places as we strive to live the young women values, which are. And right after we did the young women chant, we got into the presentation and gave a little background, and we got the most points, and we won. And then we went to Burger King, and Burger King was a really big thing in South Africa still. It was new, so we were very excited about that. It was delicious. We had fun, and we got out of school because of Mormonism. So in Mormonism, we trust to get us free food. Disclaimer: do not invite the missionaries into your home.